Hello. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the S&P, what happened with it during Christmas time. But I really want to thank you very much for your support in 2018. We had few subscribers, and then all of a sudden we have now 15,277 subscribers, for which I thank you very much. And I hope I'll be bringing important and substantial information based on our experience in technical analysis. Well, the S&P unfortunately did not have a happy Christmas because yesterday, Christmas Eve, let me show you here in Foki chart. Here we go. It opened with a gap as the S&P yesterday in the short bid that we had finishing at noon, and it closed with 2.7%, minus 2.7%. So that comes in accordance with our analysis that the S&P is starting a bear market, and there's a lot to go yet in this bear market, because we think that's a reaction of the action that we had from 2008 until nowadays. And if we draw Fibonacci here, we can see that first Fibonacci correction would bring the S&P to a little below 1800, which would mean another 25% drop. Well, if I'm correct, what the consequences of another drop of that magnitude in the S&P would mean that the world would enter a recession period. First thing that happens, same as happened in 2008, is that the credit vanishes, just disappears. And of course that harms all businesses in the world. But most importantly, we have to understand that all the portfolios of the world will lose a third of its value, considering that these portfolios are directly related to the price of the S&P, to the value of the S&P 500 biggest U.S. companies, right? So if that happens, everybody starts slowing down. They will hire less people, they will invest less, and so the world is going to suffer with that. Now, last time that happened, it was in 2008, and that happened because of central banks, the irresponsibility of banks that were giving credit and packaging these credits in packets that they would sell like AAA, while they wouldn't, and wouldn't even be junk bonds, right? So what happened is history, and the interesting thing is that at that time, Satoshi Nakamoto was launching his famous white paper, Creating Bitcoin, which was exactly to provide a possibility for human beings to deal without having to use a fiat currency issued by a central bank. Well, 9 years have passed, and now 10 years have passed actually, and now it will be, if I'm correct, and we're going to be seeing a sort of a crash in the near future, it is going to be the first time in which the capital that is going to fly away from risky markets like the stock market will have the possibility of landing in a space where most of and especially Bitcoin, is decentralized or not controlled by central banks. So there's no by the book in this situation, and we'll have to observe, we'll have to analyze and see what happens. The first observation that we have produced is that Bitcoin has increased in price while the S&P was decreasing. On the 17th, and we can see a chart of Bitcoin here. Let me just check if everything is correct here. Yeah, in the 17th, when Bitcoin, when that's the price of Bitcoin, the daily price of Bitcoin, as quoted in Bitfinex. The 17th was this day here in which Bitcoin had a substantial rise after this almost 50% decline that happened actually it's 50% decline that happened in, look at that, that was a real crash, right? In 31 days, business days. Days, because it's 24/7 in Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin had a substantial rise of approximately 9.3%, and in that same day, the S&P was giving important signs that he was starting a bear market. So we see a inverted behavior of Bitcoin. So maybe, just maybe, we're seeing some of the money that is flying away from the stock markets landing in the crypto space, and of course most of that money is going to land in Bitcoin. So if that happens, I think we're going to be seeing a huge increase in market cap of the whole crypto space, and Bitcoin specifically will have an incredible rise. I still think Bitcoin is heading to $100,000, which is my next objective. Of course, we have a lot of resistance that we have to overcome in the way up, but I think Bitcoin has the potential to go even further. So that's it for today. Thank you again for supporting the channel. I hope to see you very often here, and I'll see you next time.